Round here, them guns get the last word.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we have the early registration numbers for Evo Japan. These numbers are incredibly shocking and a lot of people are trying to make sense of it. Usually Evo Japan is massive, it's just as big as Evo Vegas, but this time around it's not the case. Even though these are the monthly registrations, it's still shocking a lot of people. The total number so far, and this is all of the games included, is around 3,000 signups. Street Fighter 6, which usually dominates Evo Japan, last year I believe they had about 4,000 in Evo Japan. The year before that I believe they had about 6,000. So you do have that 2,000 player base drop off, and I guess this year also has that similar trend because so far they only have 2,506 signups. So that means they lost a total of 2,000 players since last year. Now that's kind of shocking because Street Fighter, we know, especially when you look at their Steam charts, that they are absolutely killing it in Japan. 35,000 players on, this is the 24-hour peak, and when you look at the graph you can see that the time zone where these guys come from is Japan. The low points, 8,000, 7,000, that's EU, that's NA. Their EU NA player base is relatively equal to Tekken 8. Tekken 8, their Steam count is at 6,000, 8,000, but the difference between these two games is that Street Fighter has a insanely large Japanese audience, and we see that day by day the game is being tailored more so to Japan. Regardless of what is factoring in Street Fighter's number being so low, especially the drop off from year by year, I think it is in their best interest to figure out what player base is not going and figure out a way to get them to go. Tournaments is the biggest moneymaker for all of these, and to see these numbers drop off so crazy is insane. Now, this isn't even the craziest thing when you look at these numbers. Like I said, a total of 3,000 people have currently signed up. 2,500 is for Street Fighter 6. The next game on the chart is not Tekken 8, it's Guilty Gear Strive, and these numbers are incredibly low. 190 people. Usually Tekken 8 is in second place with 1,000 or 500 or somewhere in there, right? It kind of fluctuates, but it's Guilty Gear Strive. And then it's this game, what is it? I don't even know what game this is. VSAV, what is that? That's 132 people. Tekken 8, you finally get to it at 4th on the list, and there is currently only 130 people who's going to Evo Japan. This is the lowest I have ever seen this number, and I would argue this is really season 2 coming in and hurting this game. Something we've been asking ourselves throughout this whole entire year is, was it worth it? The developers have made it very loud and very clear that they want to bring in new players, and they kind of don't care about the legacy players. They basically spit in our face because we gave them feedback during the beta, during the demo, and during the entirety of season 1. And you can also throw in the early testing that happened in tournaments. Everyone gave their feedback, from commentators to pros to content creators to just normal players. They did not listen to no one, and they continued with their pursuit of aggression. And this has resulted in not only season 2 being universally hated, but also considered one of the worst updates in all of gaming in the year 2025, but also one of the worst updates ever for a fighting game. The amount of damage that season 2 has done to the Tekken franchise cannot be understated. And I know there's a lot of people who wants to write it off and act like it's no big deal, but we know that Tekken is not untouchable. There's been times in the past where you're talking about the Tekken 4 or Tekken Tag Tournament 2, where Tekken came very close to dying. Even though I think this game is nowhere near that point of dying, they cannot drop the ball with season 3, because when you look at these numbers and you see that Tekken 8 is this low down, it is blatantly obvious that these developers have upset a lot of people. And then also combine that with Harada stepping away, for a lot of people, they feel like Tekken is just a lost cause.
Tekken just pissed off its entire fan base by releasing an update that does literally the exact opposite of everything fans have wanted them to do.
One thing that Harada did before he left the company, and I'm happy he did this, is he replaced the development team. Those idiots who made season 2 and was ignoring the players and what they wanted, and also breaking the game in almost every single update, whether it be the way the combos work, whether it be creating infinite strings, unblockable attacks, characters teleporting. A lot of the foolishness was because of those developers. And the new development team that came in to replace those guys, it's really the legacy team who created Tekken 7, Tag 2, and some of these older Tekken games. I don't know where they went. I don't know what they were doing, but Harada brought those guys back after the catastrophe that was Season 2. And when those guys returned, not only did we see that the game stopped breaking in every single update, but we also saw the release of what I believe to be 3 incredible DLC characters: Fakuram, Armor King, and Marizu. Now, I know players have their kind of gripes with each one of those characters, but we all can agree that those characters is not nearly as broken as Anna, really not even as broken as some of the characters who are on the base roster, who was really pushed above and beyond in Season 2. If they can reel back all of those garbage characters, I think this game will be so much better, so much more enjoyable, and these tournament numbers would look better because of it. I know at the start of Season 2, a lot of people was making jokes about how like everyone's saying they're going to quit Tekken 8, but who's actually going to quit it? You guys are still playing this, you guys are still doing that. But I mean, with these tournament numbers here, we see that people are really stopping and really not caring about the game. The developers, we already know they're in panic mode trying to fix the game, but these numbers being like this should really light a fire under them because like I said, Tekken is not undefeatable. Tekken is not unkillable. Now that they don't have Harada, they lose a lot of power. Bandai Namco doesn't accept defeat. We know they shut down many games in the past. None of these things are guaranteed when you're dealing with Bandai Namco, and if they don't get it together right now, we're going to be cooked. The developer has lost a lot in the pursuit of bringing in new players. New players is what they want. New players is what they're after, but they chased away a lot of their legacy audience. And we just asked, was it worth it? With Season 2, this update, I personally believe, was crafted solely for the players of Japan. When they did their Tekken Talks promoting it, they did it on the Japanese time zone. During the Tekken Talks, they were reading from a chat. Maximally speculated that they had the chat blown up on a huge projector screen so they could read it from across the room, and the developers confirmed that it is in fact the Japanese chat they were reading. In the Japanese chat, they were talking about Akuma and how awesome King is. You know, King is the most popular character in Japan. They were just having a totally different conversation than the English chat. The thing about Tekken that you have to know is that Tekken's main audience is EU and NA. This is why EU has its own tournament circuit separate from the Tekken World Tour, because that player base is so massive. So for Tekken to not only tailor its season for a region that is very small within the Tekken player base, but then also ignore the popular regions, this is the result. We know that the Tekken developers value tournaments a lot. They said that tournaments was the reason that Tekken 7 sold 12 million copies, and this is why Tekken 8 was kind of modeled and shaped after tournaments.
The genre was doing so well. It was thriving. I couldn't believe how hard it was thriving. What happened? What's happening to all of these games?
Now more than ever, the Tekken developers need to absolutely lock in. Without Harada, with a bad Season 2, Season 3 needs to be flawless. Throughout Season 1, they had multiple different backlashes. During Season 2, they had the biggest backlash out of all of it. They finally need to deliver something that the players can be satisfied with, happy with, and stop chasing after new players just for one season. You tried 2 seasons already. Give us a break. Do what's right for the legacy audience, because this game, these tournament numbers, if Evo Japan looks like this, imagine what Combo Breaker, CEO, some of the other tournaments, the whole entire Tekken World Tour. And I would even argue as well that no one even cares about watching this stuff anymore. And you know that's going to hurt them, because they make a lot of money from their advertisements, from their marketing. This is why they always flex how many people tuned in to watch the tournaments, how they broke records. But if their records is the lowest it's ever been, those advertisement numbers is going to drop. Tekken 8 and a lot of these fighting games were playing with fire, and I hope they realize it now and start to lock back in.